So there's a national shortage of Adderall. No surprise, this has been going on for months. But in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to bypass the shortage and get your medication, the steps that I've used and the steps that I've consulted several friends on that have been extremely successful. So stay tuned. I'm going to share the exact tricks that I use and I teach so that you can get your medication right now and avoid the hassle of the shortage, because you depend on this medication. This is a relationship between you and your physician, and I'm not here to judge you, but I know that you can be reliant on this for day-to-day use. I've been on and off this medication myself as a patient, as well as having prescribed this medication as a physician. So before we jump into what you need to do to get your medication and when this all is going to be over, I just want to preface, I am an osteopathic physician with a medical degree. I am not a practicing physician that holds an active medical license. I run a business now, but I can speak about this from a medical perspective and from a patient's perspective. But this is not medical advice. All right, so what is up with this Adderall shortage? It's been going on for months. 2022 has been crazy. So let's just start with why. Why did this shortage start to happen and when is it going to get better? Well, over the course of COVID from 2020 to 2021, with the emergence of telemedicine, a lot of regulations have changed so that it's much easier to get this medication. There's been online services like Done and Clarity and multiple others that have popped up, making it very, very easy to go online, have a very quick consult with a doctor, and now you have a lifetime prescription for this medication, as long as you do some regular follow-ups. So they've seen a whopping 15% increase in the demand for Adderall in 2022. That is absolutely insane. And supply, obviously, supply chain's been affected by COVID as well. It's been unable to keep up with the increased demand. Now, I'm sure the way that economics and business works in 2023, they're going to ramp up production to meet demand. I don't see demand slowing anytime soon. So I don't see this being a long-term issue, but obviously you need your medication now. You're reliant on this so you can function day to day. So let's get into how to actually fix this. How do you get your medication? What are the steps that you need to take to get this done? All right, so a couple of things that you need to think about and that you should know is that this isn't going to be over probably until 2023. They're saying in November, December of 2022, it's almost the end of November right now, and it's still not over. It's still highly in a shortage, and I expect that it might be in a shortage until halfway through 2023. Manufacturers really need to catch up, and they're playing a lot of catch up right now. So the temporary patches that I'm going to share with you, expect them to be temporary, or some of them might be permanent. That's going to be between you and your physician, but I'm going to teach you some workarounds so that you can actually get access to your medication now. But just understand that the shortage will be over and you may be able to go back to the normal medication that you've been taking on normal cycles at the normal dosage. So just keep in mind, this will likely end sometime in 2023. Some say it'll be early, some say it'll be later in 2023. I happen to think, my opinion, the actual shortage is going to be over about halfway through 2023. So just brace for that. Okay, a major consideration with this Adderall shortage is that not every dosage and not every release method is being affected equally. So as you probably likely know by being a patient on this medication, there's an instant release and an extended release version of this medication, and they are not on an equal shortage. In fact, the extended release version of this medication is in a much more severe shortage than the instant release. So if you're used to taking the extended release version of this medication, you've been unable to get it, there are some things that you can do to get the same effect with the same medication, such as getting a larger dose of the instant medication and taking smaller bits of it over the course of the day, or getting lower dose and taking more of them throughout the day. But that's not even the strategy. Let's save that and go into the actual strategic portion for what you should do to get that medication. So I'm going to share a website, and I'll share some images on the screen right now so that you can actually see what dosages and release methods are being affected the most. It is getinflow.io, and you're able to track which medication dosages are most affected by the shortage. So when you're having that conversation with your physician and with your local pharmacies, because they might have higher quantities of one dosage or the other, it's good to have that information on hand so that you're actually coming to that conversation with some information. So go in the show notes, grab that link, and you can track this thing kind of in real time. They do a very good job updating it. Now, how to use this, and this is going to go into how to actually get your medication right now. You should speak to your physician. If you've been unable to get your medication, your local pharmacies don't carry your normal dosage, use the information here, talk to your doctor, find a dosage that is not in shortage right now, and see if they can switch you to that temporarily. And if you end up liking it, you can talk about making that a permanent thing. But doctors are sympathetic to this. They want you to have your medication, and it's a lot of work for them when you call a bunch of pharmacies, go to get it filled, you're unable to do it, then you got to call the doctor again and get it switched. So if you can start off with this conversation with your doctor, like, listen, the dosage that you normally prescribe me is short, and this other dosage, or maybe even the extended release, isn't in the shortage right now and will be available. So is it okay to switch me to this or have me take this one? Don't be embarrassed to ask. A lot of patients are scared to talk to their doctors and to have conversations like that, requesting certain medications. Don't be scared. Have a normal conversation. As a human with your doctor, they're very sympathetic to the shortage, and it makes their job easier when you can get your medication in time. Okay, so other than talking to your doctor and having them change the strength of your medication or the delivery system, I've also found and spoken to my pharmacist friends about this. This information is not going to be available online unless you're digging deep in some Reddit thread, so take this with a grain of salt. This is not fact, this is not literature. You ready? Call pharmacies and ask them if they have your medication and it's something that's involved in the shortage. They're just going to say no. They have no responsibility to tell you when it's coming, if they do have it on hand. And if they are getting it soon or they do have it on hand, they probably owe it to other people before you. So if you call them and ask, and your medication is one of them listed in that shortage, they're likely going to tell you they don't have it, even if they do, or even if they are getting it tomorrow. They're just going to make their lives easier, and they've probably been instructed just to tell you they don't have it. Sorry, pharmacists, for saying this. If there's anything inaccurate, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation about this. I don't necessarily think it's right, but I do understand, especially with the volume of calls that the pharmacists are getting. It just makes sense to let patients know that there is a shortage and they don't have that medication. But if you go in person, and this is what I found, if you're in person and you have a relationship with that pharmacist, and if you don't already have a relationship with your pharmacist, try and build one. It's very easy to ask them somebody's name, where they went to pharmacy school. Oh, that's so cool. Try and build that relationship in person, and then go ahead and ask, because they're going to really have that inside information. They might have extra medication lying around that they don't owe to anybody. They might be getting it tomorrow and can put you in line to fill it. There's a lot of leeway that they have when doing this. I found this successful for myself, for friends, and I've talked to pharmacists about this strategy as well. It does work. Don't be scared to try this strategy. All right, the last, and I'd say final solution that I could recommend, and this is going to be between you and your doctor, all of this. I'm not saying switch medications. But if there is no good alternative, you're on an XR, all of the XRs that are similar in strength are within the realm of being in the shortage, and you want to stay on an XR, I would like to recommend, if you can afford it, I'll give you a discount option and I'll give you a premium option. Actually, something that I did is you can switch to Vyvanse temporarily. I will say this medication, if you don't have insurance, is much more expensive. Sometimes your insurance will cover this. If you're young, have an established diagnosis, failure on Adderall or failure on other medications, you can actually get your insurance to cover Vyvanse. If not, you can go on GoodRx, but this is going to be several $100s likely to fill your Vyvanse prescription. But who knows? You might like it better than Adderall, and in my opinion, if you are able to get a better result, you feel better on a daily use of a medication, then it's worth the extra dollars. And I understand people are in different financial situations. So if you're somebody who's fortunate enough to be able to try this to temporarily bridge to Vyvanse while the Adderall shortage is resolved, that is something I 100% could understand you doing. Now, I will caution you against switching from an Adderall to a Concerta or a Ritalin. These are significantly different, or significant enough different medications where you might not have the same desired effect and desired treatment that you would on Adderall. Like methylphenidate is a very different medication from an amphetamine salt. So just keep that in mind as you're talking to your doctor and looking for alternatives. One alternative that is great is the Adderall to Vyvanse switch. If that's something you can afford to do, I highly recommend doing it. And if not, you can try switching to an instant release and breaking it up throughout the day. But again, that's going to be between you and your physician. All right, so just to recap, the 3 things that you can do to get your medications now. The first one, think about switching the dosage to a dosage that is more available for you. And if you're taking an XR, think about switching to an IR temporarily as this medication shortage starts to resolve itself. The second thing that you should do is really go in person. Build a relationship with your pharmacist so you can get the inside scoop. If you just call and ask if they have your medication that's on the shortage list, they're going to tell you no. Try this just for fun if you want to. Call 10 local pharmacies and ask them if they have 20 milligram Adderall XRs. They're all just going to tell you no. Whether or not that is true or not, there's a good chance some of them might actually have it or be replenishing them soon. And then strategy number 3, think about switching the actual medication that you're taking, and talk to your physician about this. If you can afford to do the Adderall to Vyvanse switch, try it. You may actually like the effect. Vyvanse is one of the most popular medications for ADHD. It is very effective. So if you're fortunate enough to be able to afford that switch, it's going to be a couple $100 if your insurance doesn't cover it, but well worth the dollar amount, again, if you get a better effect with it. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Guys, I know you're suffering with this Adderall shortage. You're not alone. There's people across the country that are unable to get their medications right now, and this sucks. But there are other things that you can do. If you have a doctor or a parent who's not sympathetic and not willing to try any of these things, then there are natural alternatives. You can try nootropics, caffeine supplements, and I highly recommend that everybody with ADHD meditate for at least 15 minutes per day. ADHD, I believe, and this is controversial every time I say it, is a symptom of our inability to focus on something mundane because of our overstimulation to things around us. There's been a lot of controversial studies supporting and denying that claim that I just made. But either way, meditation has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to help you in the long run to be able to counter the inability to focus and to actually increase your happiness and productivity as well. So incorporate meditation into your day-to-day. If you need some help meditating, I have a Muse 2 headband that I use that's absolutely incredible. There's going to be a link to that in the bio as well if you want to check that out. Highly worth the recommendation. And if you're watching this video and you want an Adderall prescription for your first time, there are some of those websites that do make it very easy. I will caution you before starting any Adderall or amphetamine medication, try natural alternatives first. Make sure that they don't work. Make sure that you're not getting the desired effect. Try meditation before starting these medications. But Clarity, Done, there's a lot of websites like this that make it very, very easy. I don't have any relationships or partnerships with them, but that is an option for you. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please share this with other people who might be suffering from this Adderall shortage. If you have any comments or want to have a conversation about what's going on, please drop a comment. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel and you are someone who uses Adderall or other stimulant medications or has ADD, I do a lot of content on ADD. You can see them around me here with some recommended videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good luck. Bye.